If The Conjuring is your ceiling for scary, this list might break you.
You're never gonna stop!
These 10 horror films aren't mainstream. They're mean, disturbing, relentless, and wildly underrated.
So you have no idea what's on them?
Each one proves that true horror doesn't always come with a franchise name. And yes, they're all streaming now. Number 10, caveat Tubi.
You really made a mess of this.
An eerie slow burn that thrives on atmosphere. Caveat drops you into the middle of a nightmare without a clear way out. A man with partial memory loss takes a strange job, caring for a disturbed young woman in a crumbling house on an isolated island. There's one condition: he must wear a leather harness that limits where he can go inside the house. As he uncovers the property's violent past and starts experiencing inexplicable phenomena, reality begins to fracture. The film's use of silence, shadow, and space builds a haunting sense of dread that lingers long after it ends. And yes, there's a mechanical bunny involved that you'll wish you could unsee. This is indie horror at its most unsettling, slow, strange, and unforgettable. Number 9, The Taking of Deborah Logan, Tubi. What begins as a straightforward medical documentary about Alzheimer's spirals into a truly nightmarish descent into possession, madness, and ancient evil. The Taking of Deborah Logan is one of the most disturbing found footage horrors of the 2010s, ramping up tension with slow, eerie clues that something sinister is hiding behind the title character's illness. Jill Larson delivers a chilling performance as Deborah, a woman whose terrifying transformation is captured in increasingly frantic and horrifying detail by the student filmmakers documenting her decline. From flickering lights and cryptic whispers to a now iconic final scene in the mines, this film is packed with jaw-dropping moments that feel too real for comfort. It's tight, terrifying, and unforgettable. Easily one of the best modern entries in possession horror. Once it sinks its teeth into you, there's no looking away. Number 8, Anything for Jackson, Tubi. You've seen possession horror, but Anything for Jackson flips the formula with a reverse exorcism that's as inventive as it is terrifying. A grieving elderly couple, played to eerie perfection by Sheila McCarthy and Julian Richings, kidnap a pregnant woman with the goal of placing their dead grandson's soul into her unborn child. But in their desperation, they accidentally unleash a gateway to purgatory, bringing in a relentless stream of ghostly tormentors, each more twisted than the last. Despite its small scale, the film delivers some of the most visually haunting and creatively unsettling moments in recent horror. It's smart, disturbing, and emotionally grounded, making its horror hit even harder. With a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, this indie gem proves you don't need a big budget to summon nightmares. Number 7, House LLC, Prime Video. Some haunted house movies go bump in the night. House LLC screams straight through it. Shot in found footage style, the film follows a team of Halloween haunt creators as they transform an abandoned hotel into a horror attraction. But what starts as fake scares quickly turns real. As strange events pile up, mannequins that move, shadowy figures, and missing crew members, the team realizes they've tapped into something far darker than cheap thrills. What makes House LLC stand out isn't just its atmosphere, it's the slow, suffocating dread that builds with every flickering light and hallway camera. The final 20 minutes deliver a payoff that's genuinely terrifying, proving you don't need big effects to leave a lasting chill. If you like your horror immersive, claustrophobic, and relentless, this is a must-watch. Number 6, Incident in a Ghostland, Tubi.
He stays in the house with her, along with the parents' dead bodies.
Incident in a Ghostland doesn't just play with your nerves, it pulverizes them. When a mother and her 2 daughters are attacked in a secluded home, the trauma fractures reality itself. Years later, one daughter returns, only to find time hasn't healed anything, and may not even be real. What begins as a violent home invasion spirals into a disturbing, surreal nightmare where memory, identity, and horror collide. Twisted villains, Doll-like victims and brutal mind games elevate this beyond your standard slasher. The film constantly shifts between reality and delusion, forcing you to question everything, right up until its disturbing finale. It's bleak, intense, and absolutely relentless, making it one of the most disturbing entries on this list. Not for the faint-hearted, but essential for horror fans craving something brutally original. Number 5, Terrified, AMC+. From Argentina comes a supernatural nightmare that truly earns its title. Terrified wastes no time plunging you into chaos, opening with one of the most jarring and grisly scenes in recent horror. A neighborhood in Buenos Aires becomes the epicenter of bizarre and unexplainable phenomena. Bodies levitating, voices in sinks, and corpses casually returning from the grave. As a team of paranormal investigators descend on the haunted homes, the mystery deepens into something far more disturbing than any possession or haunting. Director Demian Rugna crafts a multi-layered scarefest that abandons traditional narrative rules in favor of sheer dread. With relentless pacing and eerie, in-your-face horror moments, Terrified is a brutal and stylish jolt to the system that fans of Insidious and Hereditary should absolutely not overlook. Number 4, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, Tubi. This confined, slow-burn shocker turns a simple autopsy into a descent into pure supernatural dread. The Autopsy of Jane Doe follows a father-son coroner team played by Brian Cox and Emil Hirsch as they examine a mysterious corpse found at a bizarre murder scene. What begins as a routine post-mortem spirals into horror when they uncover impossible injuries, burned lungs, severed tongue, broken bones, with no outward trauma. As unexplainable things start happening, it becomes clear they're dealing with something ancient, tortured, and not at rest. Directed by Andre Ovredal, the film is masterfully paced and terrifying in its simplicity. With clever twists and a claustrophobic atmosphere, this one proves that the scariest things often lie still and silent until they don't. Number 3, When Evil Lurks, Hulu. Gruesome, unpredictable, and bursting with dread, When Evil Lurks is one of the most disturbing horror films in recent memory. Set in rural Argentina, it follows two brothers who discover a demon-infected man, referred to as a rotten, on the verge of giving birth to something truly evil. Instead of following proper exorcism protocol, they try to dump the body, triggering a deadly chain of possessions that spreads like a virus. Director Demian Rugna escalates the horror with brutal, hard-hitting violence and a constant sense of hopelessness. The film doesn't rely on cheap jumps, but digs under your skin with raw atmosphere and shocking imagery. It's the kind of movie that sticks with you and might make you second-guess every single sound outside your house at night. Number 2, Late Night with the Devil, Hulu.
No one's going anywhere.
How could you let it happen, Jack? How could you let it happen?
Please be warned, anyone with young children in the room.
Set during a fictional 1977 Halloween broadcast, Late Night with the Devil is a found-footage analog horror film that grips you from its eerie opening to its blood-drenched finale. Jack Delroy, a desperate late-night TV host, tries to revive his ratings by inviting a parapsychologist and a supposedly possessed young girl onto his live show. What starts as a ratings stunt spirals into total chaos, unleashing real supernatural terror in front of a national audience. David Dastmalchian is riveting as Delroy, gradually unraveling as the night descends into hell. With pitch-perfect 70s production design, disturbing practical effects, and a creeping sense of dread, this film blurs the line between showbiz and damnation. It's a devilish slow burn with a show-stopping ending, one you won't forget anytime soon. Number 1, Talk to Me, Netflix.
What did the hand feel like?
In Talk to Me, a group of Australian teens discovers a severed, embalmed hand that allows them to communicate with spirits, but only for 90 seconds. Any longer, and something else comes through. What begins as a viral party trick quickly spirals into psychological torment when 17-year-old Mia sees what she believes to be her dead mother beyond the veil. As reality distorts and tragedy strikes, the film unravels a terrifying look at grief, guilt, and obsession. With visceral practical effects skin-crawling possessions, and a soul-punching finale, Talk to Me hits harder than most supernatural fare. It's not just a haunting, it's a descent. This is elevated horror at its sharpest, and a breakout for first-time directors Danny and Michael Filippo. Watch it once, and it'll haunt you for days. And that wraps up our dive into 10 horror films that go way beyond your average jump scare.
I know what you want from your sister. They broke me, and now they're playing with you.
These aren't your safe, polished studio spooks. These are raw, relentless nightmares that crawl under your skin and stay there. Whether it's the viral dread of Talk to Me, the unshakable evil in When Evil Lurks, or the disturbing rituals of Anything for Jackson.
Don't want to stay.
These movies remind us what horror really looks like when it stops playing nice. So, which one are you watching tonight, if you dare? Got a hidden horror gem that we left off? Drop it in the comments below. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and stick around. We've got plenty more twisted tales on the way. Until then, keep the lights on, and I'll see you in the dark.